Greetings of the day and welcome to the session. Government of India under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare have released FAQs related to COVID-19 vaccine, which are quite helpful, which clears most of the doubts in the minds of the people. These FAQs are targeted to general public. Several doubts that are in the minds of the general public will be clarified if we go through the FAQs released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now let us go through these FAQs one after the one. These are very detailed and very helpful to us to get better understanding and to get clarity regarding COVID-19 vaccine. And the first FAQ is a COVID vaccine scheduled anytime soon? The answer is yes. Because vaccine trials are under different stages of finalization and Government of India is getting ready to launch a vaccine of COVID-19 very soon. And if you want any information and updates related to the COVID-19 vaccine, instead of listening to here and there, you can directly log into www.mohfw.gov.in. Okay, and you can get the most authentic and authorized information on the COVID-19 vaccine. And will COVID-19 vaccine be given to everyone simultaneously? The answer is that depends on the potential availability of vaccines. The Government of India has selected the priority groups who will be vaccinated on priority, because these frontline workers and the people in the priority groups, they are at higher risk. So the first priority group includes the healthcare and frontline workers. And the second group receive COVID-19 vaccine will be the persons having 50 years of age and persons under 50 years with comorbid conditions, with serious health issues. They are given priority. So the first group is what? The healthcare and frontline workers, and the second group is the persons above 50 years of age and persons under 50 years with comorbid conditions, with more serious health issues. So these people are given the priority. And now the next question is it mandatory to take the vaccine? It is voluntary. Vaccination for COVID-19 is voluntary. But it is advisable to receive the complete schedule of COVID-19 vaccine. What do you mean by the schedule? You will get clarified regarding the word schedule, okay, momentously. So it is advisable to receive the complete schedule of COVID-19 vaccine for protecting yourself against the disease, and also to limit the spread of the disease to the close contacts, your family members, your friends, your relatives, and the co-workers. You should not be a risk-carrying agent. So it is advisable to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And will the vaccine be safe as it is being tested and introduced in a short span of time? This is the doubt where many people are having. See, you need not worry about it, because a vaccine will be introduced in the country only after the regulatory bodies clear it based on its safety and efficacy. We have DCGI, Drugs Control General of India, which constantly tests the safety and efficacy of the vaccines that are released across the world, and the government will select the best vaccines basing on the safety and efficacy, and only those things are distributed to the general public. And can a person presently having COVID-19, either confirmed or suspected, can be vaccinated? See, a person with a confirmed or suspected COVID-19 infection may spread the infection if he attempts to take the vaccination. Okay, that means a person with confirmed or suspected COVID-19 infection may increase the risk of spreading the same to others at the vaccination site whenever you go there to take the vaccination. For this reason, the people who are infected, the individuals who are infected, should postpone the vaccination for 14 days after symptoms arise, after symptoms resolution. That means you have to wait for 14 days for your symptoms to be mitigated. Only then you can take vaccination. Because when you are having symptoms and when you are confirmed with COVID-19 and once you go to the vaccination place to take the vaccination, you may be a carrier. You may spread the disease to others, which is not at all an advisable thing. And is it necessary for a COVID recovered person to take the vaccine? Because already he got affected with the COVID-19 and some antibodies may be built in his body. So is it necessary for a COVID recovered person to take the vaccine? Yes, it is advisable. It is advisable to receive complete schedule of COVID vaccine, irrespective of the past history of the infection with COVID-19. Because if you take a vaccine, it will help you to develop a strong immune response against the disease. That will definitely act as a shield to you. And one more frequently asked question. Sir, out of the multiple vaccines available, how is one or more vaccine chosen for administration? See, it all depends on the clinical trials, the safety and efficacy data that the government gets from the clinical trials of the vaccine candidates. Because today, right now in the world, we have more than 10 vaccine candidates. But which vaccine is confirmed? Okay, that is very important. So the government takes the safety and efficacy data of the clinical trials of different vaccine candidates that are available in the world, and they are examined by the drug regulator of our country, which is DCGI, Drug Controller General of India, before granting license to the vaccine candidate. That means a very meticulous, careful approach is made to select the right kind of vaccine depending on its safety and efficacy data from the clinical trials. Hence, all the COVID-19 vaccines that receive license from the government will have comparable safety and efficacy. People need not worry. That is, but from the people side, what is more important is it must be ensured that the entire schedule of vaccine is completed by only one type of vaccine. That means, generally now I am telling, schedule means the vaccine is given in 2 doses. So you have taken the first dose of one vaccine, one brand, and you have taken the second dose, another thing. That should not be there. Okay, it must be ensured that the entire schedule of vaccine is completed by only one type of vaccine, as different COVID-19 vaccines are not interchangeable. That means, sir, as a in the first phase, I'll take one vaccine brand and in the second I take another. No. What you have taken for the first time, for the second time, in the second round, also you should take the same vaccine. They are not interchangeable. That is the most important thing. And does India have the capacity to store the COVID vaccine at the temperature of +2 to +8 degrees Celsius and transport them at the required temperature? This is the biggest doubt in the minds of the people. Need not worry about it. India runs one of the largest immunization programs in the world. catering to the vaccination needs of more than 26 million newborns and 29 million pregnant women. India is having the potential, the infrastructure to take care of this COVID-19 vaccine storage and distribution. So, since a long time, the program mechanisms are being strengthened and geared up to effectively cater to the country's large diverse population so that the vaccine reaches safely to the nook and corner of the country. All the arrangements are made by the government. And another interesting question. Will the vaccine introduced in India be as effective as the ones introduced in other countries? Very interesting question. Yes, absolutely yes. The COVID-19 vaccine introduced in India will be as effective as any vaccine developed by other countries. Because the drug controllers of India, they will thoroughly go through the efficacy and safety details of the vaccines, and various phases of vaccine trials are undertaken to ensure its safety and efficacy. Only then permission is given to be distributed to the public. And here this is a very important question. How will I know if I am eligible for vaccination? Are you eligible for vaccination? Yes. There is a priority, there is an order. What is that? In the initial phase of giving the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine will be provided to the priority group. Who are priority group? Healthcare and frontline workers. For them, the vaccination will be given at first. And the 50 plus age group may also begin early based on the vaccination availability. If the vaccine is properly available, if the production schedule, the distribution schedule, if everything is good, then 50 plus age group people will be given the next priority after the healthcare professionals and frontline workers. And the people who are eligible for the vaccine, the eligible beneficiaries will be informed through their registered mobile number regarding the health facility where the vaccination will be provided and the scheduled time for the same. You need not worry. Everything will be informed by your registered mobile number. In order to avoid any inconvenience in registration and vaccination of beneficiaries. Okay, that means you need to first register to get the vaccination. Now, can a person get COVID-19 vaccine without registration with the health department? No. Registration of beneficiary, the person who is getting the vaccine, is mandatory for vaccination of COVID-19. Only when you register, the information regarding where you can get the vaccination, when you have to visit the vaccination place, but at what time you should reach there, these all things will be sent to you. That is the most important thing. That means registration is very important. Only then the remaining details will be shared to the person. Sir, what documents are required to register myself for the vaccination? Yes, we have a list of ID and photo proofs that are allowed to be used for registration. The first one is Aadhaar card, driving license, health insurance smart card issued under the scheme of Ministry of Labour, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act job card, official identity cards issued to MPs, MLAs and MLCs, PAN card, passbooks issued by bank or post office, passport, pension document, service identity card with photograph issued to employees by the central and state governments, PSUs, public limited companies, or voter ID card, or smart card issued by RGI under NPR. Okay, so these all proofs or valid proofs to get yourself registered with the for COVID-19 vaccine. Now, sir, will a photo or ID be required at the time of registration? Yeah. Whatever photo ID you have used at the time of registration, it must be produced and verified at the time of vaccination. That means what you had used to register your name for vaccination, the same ID, photo ID proof, you have to use it at the time of vaccination. If a person is not able to produce photo ID at the session site, that is where the vaccination is taking place, whether he or she will be vaccinated or not. The answer is, it is must. Photo ID is a must for both registration and verification of beneficiary at the session site. That is, at the time when he is getting the vaccination. Because there should be a proof that the right person is getting vaccinated to the government. So for that reason, a photo ID is must. Sir, how will the beneficiary receive information about the due date of vaccination? See, first when you register online, how to register online, that all procedure will be intimated. So once you register online, you receive an SMS. You receive an SMS on your registered mobile number on the due date of the vaccination, and also the place and time are intimated. So the date, the time and the place, they are intimated to you through your registered mobile number in the form of an SMS. Okay? And will the vaccinated beneficiaries receive information on the status of their vaccination after completion? That means, will there be any proof that a particular person is vaccinated for COVID-19? Yes. On getting the due dose of COVID-19, means once you complete the complete schedule of 2 doses, the beneficiary will receive SMS on their registered mobile number. After all doses of vaccine are administered, a QR code based certificate will be sent to the registered mobile number of the beneficiary, indicating the status of the vaccination. That means a person who got vaccinated completely for the entire schedule of 2 doses, he will be given a QR code based certificate. Not physically, it will be sent to the registered mobile number of the beneficiary. This is a very important thing. If one is taking medicines for illness like cancer, diabetes, hypertension, etc., can he or she take the COVID-19 vaccine? Yes, they can take it. Persons with one or more of these comorbid conditions, means serious health conditions, are considered as high risk category, and they need to get the COVID-19 vaccination. And government is also taking a lot of measures to make it happen more early to all these people on a priority basis. When I get the vaccination at the vaccination session site, are there any preventive measures and precautions that I need to follow? Yeah, there are some guidelines. You have to take some rest at the vaccination center for at least half an hour after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. So you have to take rest at the vaccination center for at least half an hour after taking the COVID-19 vaccine. And if you have any discomfort or uneasiness, if you feel any problem, then immediately inform the nearest people, the nearest health authorities like ANMs, ASHA workers. You just inform them. So they will take care. And whenever you come to the vaccination center to take your vaccine, you have to follow the appropriate COVID behavior, like wearing a mask, maintaining the hand sanitization, and maintaining a physical distance of 6 feet or 2 gaj, that is 2 gajas of space, distance you have to maintain. So these all things are mandatory even you come to the vaccination center. This is again a biggest doubt in the minds of the people. What about the possible side effects of COVID-19 vaccine? See, you need not worry about it, because COVID vaccine will be introduced only when the safety is proven, when the safety and efficacy data is thoroughly examined by the drug control authorities. Only then COVID vaccine is introduced. Okay, but there may be some common side effects, like in the case of any other vaccines, like mild fever, pain at the site of injection. Wherever you have taken the injection, there may be little pain for some time. So these are all common side effects, and these are not special to COVID-19. For any other vaccine, we have the same minimal, very basic side effects. And even the government of India asked the state governments to start making arrangements to deal with any COVID-19 vaccine related side effects as one of the measures towards safe vaccine delivery among the masses. So you need not worry regarding that. All the proper care and measures have been taken by the government. Now, this is the most important question. How many doses of the vaccine would have to be taken by me and at what interval? This is what we are talking about, schedule. 2 doses of vaccine, 28 days apart. That means there should be a time gap of 28 days between the 2 doses that you take. So 2 doses of vaccine, 28 days apart, need to be taken by an individual to complete the vaccination schedule. This is the most important thing. The vaccination schedule will be consisting of 2 doses, where between the 2 doses there should be a time gap of 28 days. Okay. Now, this is again a very interesting and very important question. When would the antibodies develop? After taking the first dose or after taking the second dose, or much later? Because now today people are worried about the antibodies. Okay. See, this is clearly said. The protective levels of antibodies, the antibodies which are helpful to protect you from the COVID-19, these gets developed 2 weeks after receiving the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. After receiving the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine, only then the protective level of antibodies are generally developed. Okay, so this is a very valuable information to the general public regarding different doubts in the minds of the people. Now here, there are some FAQs, frequently asked questions on COVID-19 vaccine, released exclusively for healthcare providers and frontline workers. These are not for general public. These are for healthcare providers and frontline workers. What is the first question? Why am I being chosen for COVID-19 vaccine? Because you are taking a lot of risk. You are the frontline worker. So, the government of India has prioritized the most at risk or high risk groups, which will get the vaccine first. And all of us know that healthcare providers have led the battle against COVID-19 from the front. They are the best frontline workers. And the government wants you to be able to continue your work, your service, without the fear of risk associated with the COVID-19 virus. And that is the reason healthcare and frontline workers are among the first group of people to be vaccinated in the country. Next, what are the groups to be vaccinated in the first phase? Based on the potential availability of vaccines, the government of India has selected the priority groups who will be vaccinated on priority because they are at higher risk. Generally, the first group includes healthcare workers because they are at high risk of contracting the infection. So, protecting them helps to sustain the essential health services so that the essential health services are not disturbed. And the vaccination of frontline workers will help in reducing the societal and economic impact by reducing COVID-19 mortalities. That means if the frontline workers are not available to offer their services, then there will be higher mortalities of COVID-19. So that is the reason the frontline workers, they are given highest priority in order to maintain the social and economic impact, in order to have a positive social and economic impact in the country. And the next group to receive the COVID-19 vaccine will be persons over 50 years of age, and also persons under 50 years of age with comorbid conditions like diabetes, cancer, hypertension, these all conditions, because there is a risk of high mortality in this category. Okay, and the reason for including more than 50 years of age group for vaccination is that it will be able to cover 78% of persons having comorbidities and thereby reduce the mortality on account of COVID-19. That means if you first give vaccine to the people above the 50 years of age, that will drastically reduce the mortality rate of COVID-19, because 78% of the people are having comorbidities, they are having the age of above 50. And this is another important point. People who are having more than 50 years of age group, they are again divided into two subgroups. One subgroup is 60 years and above, and they will be vaccinated first on a priority basis. And second subgroup is between 50 and 60 years age group, and they will be vaccinated after the first subgroup, that is 60 and above. First they have to be finished, then this second subgroup will be vaccinated. And of course, the vaccination may not be sequential. It can go in parallel for all the beneficiaries. But it all depends on the supply of the vaccine. If the vaccine is available in sufficient quantities, then the government may think of doing the things parallelly to both the subgroups. That all depends on the availability of the vaccine. And government is taking every measure, every possible measure to make it available at good pace to the people. And Will my family members also be given the vaccine? This is the biggest question in the minds of frontline workers. The answer is, due to the limited vaccine supply in the initial phase, it will first be provided to people who are at high risk of contracting COVID-19. That is you as a frontline worker. In the subsequent phases, the COVID-19 vaccine will be made available to all others in need of the same. So the first priority is you, the frontline worker. And is this vaccine safe? Yeah, you need not worry about it. The safety and efficacy of vaccine will be ensured through various phases of clinical trials, vaccine trials, and only then a vaccine will be introduced into the market by the drug authorities. Okay? Now, does one need to follow the preventive measures such as wearing a mask, hand sanitization, social distancing after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine? Absolutely. Even after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine, we must continue taking all precautions like use of face cover or mask, hand sanitization, social distancing. These behaviors must be followed both at the session site and also in general. Okay. Are there any common side effects of the vaccine? The COVID-19 vaccine will be safe and effective, but you may have some minor side effects like fever, pain, etc. at the injection site. Okay, pain at the injection site and mild fever, and that happens with any other vaccine. And these effects can happen in any vaccine. That is what. So these are the very informative FAQs released by the government, which clears all our doubts. Thank you.